Hello everyone, it's a bright and sunny day here in Southern California, and today we're going to be talking about our new seed starting trays and as well as start to transplant some of the tomatoes out of them. This is a 10-20 tray, and it is also the dimensions of the tray, so 10 inches by 20 inches. What we have here today is a 50 cell tray, and it's a pretty good size for starting tomatoes. They can stay in here for quite a while before we need to transplant them. The reason for these new trays and pots is because some of the ones that we've been using the last 6 years are starting to break down. But more importantly, we're looking to be more efficient at starting plants, especially when we're trying to squeeze out an extra growing cycle. So that means compared with the past, I would wait until around March and sow the seeds, just leave them outside. They'll eventually sprout and we'll go from there. But this year, in order to get an extra cycle, we're starting the seeds indoor. We got them on top of seed mat and everything. On top of that, our existing pots come in different sizes and shapes, so we need to be more efficient at being able to move the plants outside and inside. So it's warm enough where we can bring the plants out during the day and get the sun shining on them. That's way better than grow lights, I think. And then at night, we move them back in. So for instance, this 10 by 20 tray lets you move this is a 50 cell tray, lets you move 50 plants at one time, whereas in the past we had to move probably 12 at a time, and it was very tedious. So we're saving a lot of time with this, and with uniformity and consistency with these new square pots. These are 4.5 inch square form pots. I like these dimensions. The ones we've used in the past has worked out really well. So why change what we have working so far? So we have these square pots. So on top of that, we have these trays that we can then put the pots on once they're all filled with plants, and once again easily move them quickly back and forth. So I think it's going to be a really good investment. It's not too great of an investment, so it's going to be good for us to get a lot more planted. So the next step, after we have our plants to a size where they can be transplanted, so let's transplant some of our plants out of these trays here. And let's start by getting some soil in these pots. So what I like to do is I like to, with the tomato plants, just get a little bit of soil in our pot, and then we're going to get the tomato plants out. Okay, first candidate is the drusba. We got a fork in here. Okay, press it down, and we got our first one down. This is the drusba. Put the tag back on, and then we're going to set it onto our tray. And we have our tomatoes transplanted now. These are the ones that we're going to have them in the pots, and with the rest of the tomatoes that are in the 50 cell tray, the Roma tomatoes, we're going to transplant them straight into where they're going to go next. So until the next video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Before we water in our tomatoes, let's look at how they're doing as of today. These are a couple of drusba, and back there is a copia, a couple of Kellogg's breakfast, a couple of heirloom sweet tomatoes. This is a Weissen Behaarte. Very excited about that one. Green zebra, we've grown this in the past. We're going to grow that ornamentally. And this is a sun gold. These are hybrid sweet tomatoes. One other note that we learned from doing is to not mix in different types of plants in one tray, especially if they're going to require different amounts of heat in terms of getting them to germinate, and also the speed in which they germinate. So in other words, best to keep tomatoes on one tray and other plants like peppers and eggplants on another tray, because the tomatoes are ready to pop out, whereas the peppers were not, and keeping the tomatoes on the heated mat made them leggy. Even though we had a lot of light for them, it made them leggy. So something that we learned from, and we'll keep in mind for next time.